house parties.
Yeah, because what they do is they get together, like these people who identify themselves like, yeah, they want to hold house parties, and these people, they give information, like what their age are, what their friends are, and I saw in the article that you have to say what type of pets you have even, and so they have this database, and then so other companies will approach house parties. I think it's like, the name starts like K, something house parties, or just house parties on us. We'll approach them, or house parties will reach companies that say, okay, you should have a sponsored house party to advertise your product, and like here's our sick database, and this person has dogs, and they have dog lover friends, and like you'll have a Purina themed house party, and that's where they collect all the information on. But the article we read, they said they had a quarter million dollars could get you 2,000 house parties, and like I have a piece of paper, yeah. So $250,000 gets you 2,000 house parties, and that works out to $125 a house party. That's all you'd have to pay. And so what's like what's a reasonable amount of people would show up at this house party?
I'd say, I think, between 25 to 40.
Okay. Yeah, so
that's
if
just
you got the 40,
arbitrary.
then you're paying like $5 or less per person. I believe if you looked at television, the dollar value per person, per set of eyes is even lower than that. But this whole, like, this is an interactive experience. This is something that lasts much longer than 30 seconds, and this is something people talk about for a while before and after the house party. So that's what I said. It's like word of mouth and like exposure. It's a lot more, makes more sense money-wise to do this. Yeah, so I thought it was really cool. And like did you go to the Windows Vista sponsored house party?
Yeah, I was going to talk about that as well. That was Windows 7.
Okay.
So Windows 7, I think in 2009 when they came out, we were in Toronto actually, and there was a big university party, and they had a Windows 7 kegger that night on campus, on res, and like Windows 7 came in and bought 5 kegs for this party, and you just showed up and it was free. And I kind of debated that, like, what's the effect of Windows 7? You know, at that, I couldn't believe that they would just to promote their operating system.
Yeah.
Another one of our friends actually. He was in Ottawa. I was thinking Ottawa, Canada. Mike Garnett, actually. He said, I'm going to throw a party tonight. There's a ball at the school. There's a big formal dinner. So I'm going to rent the top floor of the hotel, and Windows 7 is going to pay for a party. And I thought, what the hell are you talking about? You're crazy. This is a stupid idea. Anyways, I show up to the party 3 hours later. He's like, I booked this suite. It's all paid for. And there were hundreds of Windows 7 flyers everywhere. And all night he was just throwing flyers in the air, and he had one guy taking photos, and that's all the prerequisite of the party was. So
and
apparently
like
Windows 7,
and like, people like put them on their head.
And Windows 7 was going around Canada, just paying for house parties everywhere.
Really?
And you know, as you just had to justify. This guy just called, and you know, they gave him $300 or something like that, paid for his room, paid for a little bit of the drinks. And that was okay. In that sense, though, to me personally, I don't know how important that is. Maybe the Windows brand, maybe they really felt Windows was losing their brand, the race to Apple, going back to that.
But the Windows one's like, when I heard the Windows one, I was like, what is this? What are they doing? But then like Durex makes sense. Even like the diaper brand party where people like bring their kids.
Pampers?
Yeah, it was Pampers, yeah. Even those ones, like, okay, made sense, and like things I could get behind. The Windows 7 I couldn't, because that's, in the one case, you have a chance to actually interact with the product and use it how you would use it in normal life. Windows 7, you're just looking at posters and pictures of it.
Exactly.
I'd be hesitant. I wouldn't, if I was Windows 7, I don't think I'd be, if I was choosing spending marketing dollars, I think in that case, a product that's not interactive, for me, is a hard sell.
At a party, interactive at a party.
Yeah, exactly.
No, yeah, for sure. Like a Windows Phone 7 party would maybe make more sense, and they have like some phones, and you can take pictures during the party or something like that.
Cool,
But just something I thought now is, you know, it was innovative at the time, the way Apple set up their stores. Because you said you want something to interact, and then Apple set it up. You could do like almost anything on there. You know, like you go into an Apple store and you record yourself dancing, and like Apple employees are told to tolerate this. You know, because because you want people to have a fun, positive experience. You know,
no matter how much they might want to stop you.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
just horrible dance.
People come in dressed up in costumes, and the Apple employees Apple's like, you let them do that, all right? Because they are probably going to buy an Apple product at the end of the day.
One of the issues I have with this thing is that I feel like they're trying to get word of mouth advertising, right? That's what they're basically going for. The reason why word of mouth is better than other advertising is because it's genuine.
Yeah.
Whereas when you do this, yeah, it's true, it's word of mouth, but it's not, doesn't have the same authentic appeal to it, you know? And I go to this party, I see all these Windows 7 flyers, I know you're pushing me to get Windows 7, so I feel like I'd have almost the same like pushback and defensive stance that I would from a TV advertisement.
Okay.
Kind of thing.
Well, let's and like I said, I don't agree with this concept for products that aren't interactive. But okay, so definitely not pure word of mouth. And so it's falls somewhere in between. But what is true word of mouth, if you went to a party where like, let's say Procter & Gamble, Tide, is it, or Gain, and there was this game you had to play where you had to get your shirt like the most muddy and fucked up as possible.
Yeah.
And then you had this thing you all threw in the washer, and whoever came out the dirtiest won. Like, and trying to show you like, yeah, it will get rid of like the most shit covered shirt. So I keep swearing all the time. Like,
that's fine.
But so that you knew you're trying to be sold. But when you go later and talk about that party and you explain like what the stuff you did, that's more true word of mouth.
Yeah.
You know, because and also when getting to is, so you have a product. The goal is to have product adoption. You want this to become the regular purchase. Before you get the product adoption, you need that product trial, and that's like well, I don't want to say the hardest. Well, actually, yeah, that's for someone for whatever reason to make them stop in the store. I'm not going to buy this box. I'm going to buy this box on a whim. But you can do it on a whim. But if you can convince someone to do that, when you have these parties, that's the product trial. That's this really hard stepping stone. That's the gatekeeper. So you're giving people incentive to try a new product, and that's what this is, in my opinion. That's why I feel really strong with this for interactive products, because product trial leads to product adoption. You can't skip that step.